Hey guys, so Wally Klein here again. I'm going to do a hopefully shorter than the last one video on a training video for sales in regard to our main product line, which is basically calls. Um, now, um, this is a relatively simple service. Okay, we deliver phone calls to our customers that are highly targeted. Bottom line is they want more phone calls. We deliver more phone calls. Okay. It helps grow their business. ROI is very high, usually 10 to 50 times higher than what they're presently getting from any other kind of advertising. Some of our customers ask us, well, how do we do it? Okay, well, it's very simple. Okay. We rank multiple keywords, usually sometimes in the hundreds. Google Maps, we also do a lot of video marketing, social media marketing. So basically, our objective is to put our digital assets that we build in front of highly targeted customers. Okay, um, so that they can then call the business. And these are buying keywords with high buyer intent, generally speaking. All right. I'll try to give you some uh, examples. Okay, so this is part of our call tracking system. All right, and this is something that we use um, every day, and this gives us an idea of how we're doing with our clients as far as calls go. Because after all, what we're delivering is phone calls. Okay, now you'll notice here that this is water heater installation in Syracuse. This campaign is basically targeted toward water heater installations. Why do we do water heater installations? Because plumbers like to get more water heater installation jobs. Okay. Um, if we were doing plumbers, this thing would be blue all the way to the ceiling. The problem is that that's not highly targeted. Highly targeted means we're using terms like water heater installations or kitchen remodeling or the types of when you talk to a plumber. Okay, uh, plumbers do a lot of different things. Okay, they take on commercial plumbing jobs, they take on residential plumbing jobs. Some of them specialize in certain areas. For example, Roto-Rooter specializes in drain cleanouts. Some make a lot of money from finding leaks underground. Some make a lot of money by doing water heater installations or residential houses build outs or those types of things. So there are things that plumbers do that are much more profitable for them to do than other things. And that goes true with any business. My dad owns an electrical contracting business, and, you know, fixing, repairing a light bulb is not as lucrative to him. As a matter of fact, he got out of the residential side altogether and just does commercial stuff because he found that, that's what he specializes in, and specialists can make a lot of money. All right, so we kind of use the same technique. Now, when you think about things like dentists, where do they make their money? They don't make their money from cleanings or examinations because those are usually initially free or low cost. Where they really make their money is, dental implants, dentures, braces. These things all run into the thousands of dollars. One tooth dental implant is, I don't know, $3,000 or more. Invisalign braces for kids and adults is, $5,000. So this is where they make their money. So we target those types of services. So you have to understand that when you're selling this, what you're saying makes a lot of sense to the business owner. Okay, and you can even ask them, what's your most profitable service or services? If you could get 10 more jobs or 10 more calls, what would you want them to be for? Water heater installations is probably one of them. Some may say, underground leaks or drain cleanouts or sewer repair or, commercial jobs or whatever. We target those venues. Now, does it mean there's a lot of phone calls there? No, there's probably not as much as, say, plumber, okay, which could run into the hundreds. But if you look at this, we have a pretty steady call rate, okay. 8 calls, 3 calls. We're getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calls a day. All right. And when you pull up the report, let's see what the report says real quick. And this is just from 6:15 to 7:15. Okay. Oh, by the way, we're not even done with this campaign. We're partially done with this campaign. So
that you have not updated your
okay.
free Google business listing.
So
Thank you for
anyways,
calling.
Now
let me get out of that. So if you notice, there was 52 calls there. Now I don't know why the call tracking recording system came on, but sometimes it does when we pull up reports like that. But and I have to kill it somehow. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a quick look at that kind of stuff. Let's pull down another one real quick. Let's do CNY junk cars, and I'll pick on junk cars because this has been an extremely successful campaign. Calls. Let's see how we're doing with calls right now. Yeah. So look at the blue here. A lot of blue. All right. These are 24 calls a day, 26 calls a day, 8 calls, 31 calls, 16 calls, 13 calls, 28 calls, 21 calls. Okay. Well, you guys can do the math. Okay. If he's averaging, 25 calls a day in a 30-day period, that's about I don't know what that is, like 600 calls. I don't know. Here, let's find out what the report says. Why should I do the math? All right. That stupid voice recorder is probably going to kick in again. They didn't shut it off. Oh, wait a minute. See my junk calls, view report. Here we go. Okay, now I know it's in here. I just did it before. Well, let's do this. Let's try something new. I'm going to go from May 1st to May 31st. And I'm going to do the campaign, see my junk card. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, I must have killed this thing. Reports, call reports. Alright. Well, anyways, I killed my call reports. I get the technical. That's why I don't do all the technical stuff. No, I do a lot of technical stuff. So anyway, so that kind of gives you an idea. I mean, you can do the math really fast, and there's 24 times 3. It's about 600 calls or more that we've delivered to this guy. Now, about half of these turn into jobs, and those jobs average about $250 a piece for the guy. So, 600, 300 times 250. I don't know. That comes out to, 40, 50 grand, something like that. Anyways, I wanted to show you that. If I stick with my CNY junk cars and I pick on them, this is our rank tracking system. So this is how we use Bright Local, and we track how we're doing. So when we're building assets, we kind of track how we're doing with those assets. The main thing here is how we're doing ranking wise. Okay, and as you can see, we've progressed. This is from January. We've progressed nicely, got a lot of green, a lot more green. Green means go. Green means good, okay? So if you look here, especially in the map section, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, we're ranked number 1 all the way down, number 2, 7, 8, 15. So you can see we have, at least just on this page, about 20 number 1s, okay? We're not as concerned with the actual raw Google ranking, although we're ranked, 5, 8, 8, 8, 9, whatever. We're usually on the first page, but that is not as important to us as the maps ranking. And the reason is, very simply, that's what generates the phone calls. That's where we get our phone calls from. We've done test over test, and the Google Maps ranking is by far the new Yellow Pages of today. Now, the problem is, let's actually go there and look. Okay. Syracuse. Well, let's just do a search term. Junk cars, Syracuse, New York. Okay. So we actually own these first 2 rankings. So we actually own CNY junk cars, and then we had a secondary that we built out of just testing to see what we would get. This does get some calls, but the reason we're testing this is we wanted to see what the difference was between a ranking like this with a 4-star ranking, 4 or 5 star ranking, and built out correctly versus say just a plain Jane guy hardly did anything type account, no reviews. I don't even think it has a website. Let me just pull this up, see what it's got. Nope, it doesn't even have a website. So this is a real plain Jane. Not even it's not even claimed. It looks like it's not even claimed. Own this business. Yeah. So, anyways, plain Jane, uh, not claimed type of operation, if you will. And let me go back. So we're just doing an experiment. See what's going on. So bottom line is we can rank with very little effort, with very little things, some of the things that we do. And it's very hard for businesses to get in this 3-pack. Okay, this is the holy grail, if you will, for businesses. Very hard to do because why? You're competing with 3 other companies, and that's it. There's only 3 shots at this. Okay, it's not like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of what. This is 1 out of 3. Okay, so highly competitive, very difficult to do. There's a whole new set of rules here that I won't go into that don't play in the SEO world. We had to learn them the hard way. Took a lot of time and a lot of trial and error. There's our website right there, seeing my junk cars. It is ranked on the first page, but not number 1, and that's okay because we get our calls right from here. Okay, that's where those 500 or 600 phone calls are coming from. So I wanted to show you that because I wanted you to understand what it is we do. Okay, the business owner really doesn't care as long as he gets the phone calls. He doesn't care if we're ranked here or what kind of social media accounts we have or what kind of rankings we have on Google or this is unimportant to him. Okay, as a matter of fact, we don't even focus to this. We don't sit there and have our customers say, "Oh, gee, am I number 1? Am I number 2? Am I number?" They're not anything. Okay, this is our asset. This is our asset that generates phone calls. Okay, we don't get into keyword. How many keywords we're going after, what kind of keywords we're going after, but blah, blah, blah. We just say, look, you want water heater phone calls? We'll deliver water heater phone calls. You want junk car phone calls? We'll deliver junk car phone calls. Okay? And you can look at the volume here. This Google says this is only 50 a month. Okay? And the competition level is fairly high, 0.67. So it kind of tells you that we're able to rank for highly competitive words. And this traffic volume doesn't mean anything because phone calls is not search volume. So people don't understand that. They think the higher the search volume, the more phone calls you're going to get. Well, there is some correlation there, but it's not exact. Okay. There are a lot of variables that play into that, including, what kind of market it is. If it's a kind of market where people pick up the phone and make a phone call, then you're going to get more calls off the 3-pack like this than you will anything else. If it's a market where they don't do that, okay, where they don't pick up the phone, they don't make a lot of phone calls, then obviously the 3-pack isn't probably going to have a play in that area. As a matter of fact, Google probably won't even have a 3-pack associated with that search term. So what do I mean by that? Well, not everything has a 3-pack. So if I type in here, red dog collars. All right. Let's say I'm looking for red dog collars. I don't know why, but okay. I'm not going to get a 3-pack. There is no 3-pack listed. Oh, well, there is. Okay, my mistake. I didn't know that red dog collars were that popular locally. Okay, but apparently they're seeing this as some kind of it just made a liar out of me. Petco, Walmart, and Petco. So they're seeing this as a pet supply product, which is what it is, and of course they can equate that with a local pet supply store. So yeah, I was wrong. I'm not really sure what kind of search term Google has gotten better at their local determination versus national determination. So, you know, search terms can be for anything. Um, Here again, let's see, what's another niche we're going after? Let's do, I don't know, DWI lawyers in Syracuse. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so highly competitive, uh, very competitive. This is extreme, not 0.94. This is extremely competitive. It's also very lucrative. The cost per click is $78. $78. So what does that mean? That means a lawyer for every click is paying $78. On average, it takes 10 clicks to get a phone call. All right? You do the math, 78 times 10, $780 per call. Now, do you think that if we delivered phone calls for, 1,000 a month and we delivered 10 phone calls, even if it was $100 a piece, $100 a call versus $780 a call. I mean, I think any one of these lawyers, they'd, be jumping out of their shoes to get more of those. All right. This Tominelli here, he's running ads, so he's taking this first spot here. Google is allowing ads in this first spot, but somebody's fighting for these 3 spots. Okay. And by the way, there's 3 winners and a whole lot of losers. Okay. All these other lawyers, Mike Spano, Ticket Doctor, Christopher McKellen, every single one of these lawyers that I'm scrolling down through wants to be in that 3 spot, in that three space. Okay. So right there, you have 10, 15, 20 targets of lawyers, DWI lawyers that want to be there. Okay, because after Tominelli right here, after that guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy, Team Green lawyers, they all want to be in that 3 spot. Okay, and those green dots, by the way, means they're paying for an ad with Google, which means they're really spending money. Okay, really good indication they should be contacted, especially this guy here, this Azari and Buffett. They're spending money and they're not getting it anywhere, so that's even worse. So, anyways, I just wanted to give that to you so you can see how you can, find out. So you don't contact the first 3 guys because they're already in the 3 pack. Okay, you contact guy number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, on and on and on, and basically ask them, do you want more phone calls? Now, here's the sad part. When we go after this, one of these 3 guys is going to drop out of here. So somebody's going to lose. There's going to be one of these guys, not sure who, probably not Tom Anelli because he's advertising, but this W guy, whoever the weakest of these 3 is going to get kicked. That means we're going to take their place. And that's not going to be good for them. They're going to be a little unhappy about that because they were getting calls, and they're going to find out one day that the phone ain't ringing as much. And they're going to say, what happened? And they're going to come in here and they're going to see, holy shit, somebody took one of these spots. And boo-hoo to you. I mean, that's, that's the way it goes. Okay. We're good at this, you're not, and, that's the way it goes. Lawyers sometimes pay big money for SEO companies to do this kind of stuff. So just be aware of that this is an extremely competitive area. We do not get instant results because of that. It does take us a little bit longer. So basic rule of thumb with our service is the easier it is to rank for the keyword term, then the faster we can get there. Okay. The more competitive the keyword term is, example DWI here, the longer it takes us to get there. However, it's also worth a lot more money because it's so competitive. So I think at this point in time, I'm going to stop right there. I think I gave enough information for you to put a short list together. Please review the criteria video again if you haven't regarding regarding our criteria for customer acquisition. The reason I say that is because if you target the right customers that can really use the phone calls, and you do it in a non-competitive, well, I don't want to say non-competitive, we can compete with anything, but if you do it in an environment where there's less competition, and you do it in a city between that 100 and 3 million, and I would really target the lower end. I find that cities in the 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, half a million, those are ideal. Anything in those ranges are ideal. There's a lot of call volume and very little competition for us to have to worry about. And then again, you target. Oh, let's take a look at something. There's niches that even I haven't explored yet. Okay, um, for example, window replacement. I think we looked at this. I'm going to look at this window replacement Tampa. We must have been looking at this at some point. Um, let's see, how competitive is this? That's not that competitive. CPC is very high, 27.86. Oh, and the call value was very large. I mean, the search volume is at 320, which there's a lot of people calling on this one, I believe. And again, this is something that um, Windows and window repair, window replacement is going to be something people are going to do pretty quickly. Once they decide to do it, they're going to do it. And they're going to want to get an estimate right away. They're not going to want to wait. Now there is a difference here, and be aware of this because look at this. Okay, so there's auto glass shops. So there's the whole genre of windshield replacement, which is very lucrative because those are almost immediate, versus window doors and screen replacement, which is a whole other genre. And yeah, you can see here that Google has mixed in those two. Okay. Another thing that I noticed, this is just me because I'm technical, I've noticed that they have different main categories. So, Windows supplier, screen repair service, and auto glass shop. Okay. When you see three different main groupings like that, main primary categories, if you will, tremendous opportunity for us. And the reason is because Google is saying to me, that's what they're telling me, we don't have enough window suppliers to rank three window suppliers, or we don't have enough screen repair services to rank three screen repair services, or we don't have enough auto glass shops that qualify. Now, this is Google's qualification that would put on them in the three pack here. So because they don't have any grouping that's ahead of any other grouping, they're actually mixing them together. And what that means is man, we can do some serious damage on this one because of that. Okay. Now you guys don't have to do that kind of analysis. It's not really your place. Another good thing to do is to go to Home Advisor. So anyway, so if you wanted to find out a little bit more about Home Advisor, just do a little research in there. They have some trends and you know commercials, and they have some things that talk about how Home Advisor works and their reviews. And basically, bottom line is Home Advisor for most contractors or business owners is a ripoff. They basically send out when a customer fills out a form or makes an inquiry of Home Advisor, they're usually filling out a form which is mostly shoppers, okay, not buyers. They're mostly shoppers. They're shopping around. So they're filling out a form and basically a request for a quote. Home Advisor then sends it out to about 4 or 5 other vendors in the area. Okay, so they're making, two, three, $400 per lead because they're charging these guys a basic monthly fee. I think is or basic annual fee is about $300 plus $15 to $60 or more per lead. So you start adding that up, and an average contractor with just a handful of leads a month is probably gonna spend about 5-6 grand. Now, that's about half of what we charge, but our per lead cost is a lot lower. We're averaging around $10, plus our IRI, our return on investment, is much higher. Home Advisor, they're lucky if they convert 1 out of 10. And the reason is because they have to compete with 5 or 6 other guys. So, and they're getting a lot of shoppers. Remember, there's a huge difference between someone who's ready to buy something and someone who's shopping around for something, just getting prices and quotes. Okay. That's why I like to stick to contractors where the need or the sales cycle, if you will, is short. Okay. Think about the difference between a 24-hour emergency plumber and what they can charge, and just someone shopping around for a plumber maybe someday in the future. I don't know. Or getting quotes on things. So you really want to try to steer towards more the immediate need. Uh, broken windows, roof repair, um, you know, uh, garage door services. Uh, Tree services are great because they're usually associated with some kind of emergency, or the person needs a tree taken down, and or is down, and they need it taken care of right away. So again, that gets into a whole lot of emergency electricians, emergency plumbers, emergency dentists, emergency anything. It's usually good because buyer intent is, I need it right now. That's what the buyer intent is. So they're not shopping around. They're buying something. Okay, they're ready to take care of a problem, and they need to take care of it right away. So if you lean that way, if you start thinking in those types of terms, or if your search term is towards the end of the buying cycle. So, for example, if someone's searching for a car, they're going to go out on the line. They're going to do a lot of searches for cars. They're going to, look at models. They're going to look at this. They're going to look at that. When they get ready to buy, though, they're very specific. Okay, they know what kind of car, so they might type in. So a search, someone shopping might say, used cars in their area. Okay, that's a shopper. Okay, but when someone's looking for a Toyota Corolla, a 2019 Toyota Corolla, that person's ready to buy. They've already decided on the model. Now they're looking at price. They're in buying mode. Okay, they've shifted gears. They've done their research. They're moving into buying mode. So I want you to start thinking in those types of terms. To start thinking about businesses that have short sales cycle. When someone calls up to get a junk car removed, when do they want it removed? Now. Okay. When someone has a leaky roof, when do they want it fixed? Now. When they call a plumber for an emergency, when do they want them there? Now. Okay, you're just starting to see the advantage of those services. Now, that doesn't mean we can't deliver to other businesses that do have a slightly longer selling cycle. So let's look at real estate agents. Okay, generally speaking, they have a very long sales cycle. Okay, usually 3, 4, 5, 6 months sometimes. Okay, however, are calls still valuable to them? Absolutely, because these calls are people that are in the home buying or home selling market. Okay, and even though they're in shopping mode, okay, they're still highly valuable to that real estate agent, especially since we're doing it exclusively. So how can we help that real estate agent get to more buyers and sellers? Well, we can go through and use terms like, you know, uh, home homes for sale in a zip code. Okay, when someone is shopping in a specific zip code, they know that they want to buy a home in that area. That's what they're looking to do. They're looking to buy a house in that area. okay, or they're looking to sell a house in that, in that marketplace. So you can use certain terms to help qualify, if you will, uh, the position the buyer, the consumer is as far as where they're at in the buying or selling cycle. All right, so it's a little more difficult with real estate agents because they do have a longer buying cycle, but you know what? They still need new leads all the time. Also, think about that. Businesses that always need new customers, okay? There are businesses that have a lot of repeat customers. So, a business that has repeat customers is like a hairdresser, okay? Her customers are repeat. Do they have value? Yes. The average customer value is probably in the $800 $900 range. Okay, but here's the problem. Okay, they can only handle so many new customers, and then they're full. So they don't have the capacity for an unlimited amount. They have very finite capacity because it's dependent upon their time. Okay, lawyers are very similar. They have very finite capacity. They're only going to take on so many new clients. Okay, some doctors only take on so many new clients, so they have limited capacity. So those aren't always great for us, especially if they have a repeat business. Okay, a doctor who has a repeat business has the same patients coming to him over and over and over again and paying him. So those businesses aren't as good because they're not looking for as many fresh new customers. Okay, a business that's hungry for new customers, painters. Okay, because why? Painters do a job, they're done, they're out of there. They got to look for a new customer. Okay, roofers do a job, they're done, they're out of there. They're not, that customer's not a repeat customer. The next time that customer's going to call that roofer is probably 10, 20, 30 years from now. Okay, so, and by then he's probably forgotten who it was. So, plus he's probably sold his home and moved on. So, the chances are that roofers, for example, are always looking for new customers. Painters are always looking for new customers. Do plumbers and electricians have some repeat business? Yes, they do, especially on the commercial side. Some of them fall into, I work with certain companies or certain types of companies, and they're very comfortable and they don't need a lot of business, okay? Because they're already booked with the clientele they have that's repetitive, okay? That calls them every week, every month, every year. Um, so you got to start thinking in those terms. I'm looking for that business that really thrives, that really needs new customers. Okay, that doesn't mean that businesses like auto repair can't use more customers. It just means that they have a repetitive side of their business, and they have certain things that are good. So let's take automotive repair for a second. Let's talk about that. Automotive repair. You can go into certain areas. There's a lot of sub niches inside auto repair or automotive. Okay. For example, you have shops that specialize in mufflers, shops that specialize in transmissions, shops that specialize in body work, shops that specialize in tires, shops that specialize in oil changes. So each one of those businesses is a sub niche of auto services or auto repair. Okay. Then, of course, you have the auto repair guy who repairs everything. But you also have those very specific services. So what's advantage to us is when you get into those sub niches, there's less competition, and it's more likely that we can rank faster and deliver more phone calls to that auto transmission shop, okay, or that auto body shop, okay. So those types of services really work well. The ones that are looking for new customers all the time and need new customers all the time. Um, One of the niches that we haven't explored yet, but they're out there, or sub niches are, for example, the four wheel shops or um, the recreational shops, the RV shops. They can tend to be seasonal sometimes. I'm always afraid of seasonal businesses because they may not need us for 6 months out of the year, so to speak, and that doesn't always work well. For example, here in upstate New York, we have snow removal, but we don't do snow removal in the winter. Okay, so I mean in the summer. So excuse me, we do a lot of snow removal in the winter, but those guys have a tendency to be two-sided businesses. So what are they? They're usually landscapers in the summer. they're mowing lawns, and in the winter they're removing snow. Okay, and they remove snow not only from driveways and parking lots, but from house roofs too. So sometimes the roofing contractors are doing snow removal for roofs, which is another form of service that they can do during the winter when they're not doing roofing jobs or roofing repair jobs. So, anyways, just look at your area, think about those types of things, target, you know, some niches you're comfortable with or may know something about, and kind of use the criteria we've been talking about, and you'll have a lot of success. I mean, they need leads, they need calls. They're very hungry for calls, and there's really no good sources out there. So we really provide a very valuable service. And look, I don't have a problem with you doing introductory prices, especially when you're breaking into new markets like that in your city. Go ahead, offer them. Look, we'll cut a deal, $500 a month for the first 2 months, and it's a month-to-month contract. If you like what you see, we're going to go to 1,000, and you're going to get calls, and you're going to make money. And if you're not making money, then we're not doing our job. Okay, so that's basically a great way to introduce the service to them, is to cut it down and make it affordable, and and we can also throttle the lead. So if we feel that, somebody, can't handle that number of phone calls, it's better to get two guys at 500 a month than than one guy at 500 a month. So as long as the two guys understand we're splitting the calls between them, they're still exclusive. They're still going to go just to them. It's just that he's going to get half and the other guy's going to get half. So, we can do those types of things and make this work for everybody. So, anyways, that's enough of this for tonight, and I will see you again soon. If you have any questions, please email me, and I'll try to do some training videos around things that you don't understand and help you out. We can also do online webinars, and that might be a good way for all of us to get together and ask questions. And but I don't mind asking them one-on-one, because sometimes it's faster and easier that way. But if you have a question, please let me know, and then I can address it to the entire group, because I'm sure other people have the same question. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later.